Action. We're live, y'all. Damn. Hey, let me give a disclaimer. Maybe I should wait a minute and act like I'm a content creator, a superstar. Shout out to my man Marvin over at Nivram. It's his hat. I've had it for a while. Nivram Connection. Nivram is actually Marvin spelled backwards. So you all might be able to see Marvin looking at me, but it's actually Nivram, which is pretty unique, pretty clever. Got real good products, merchandise, clothing, local business owner from the community. And hey, excuse me, y'all. Let me tell you something. One of the hardest things to do is to hold yourself accountable. I work on that myself. Is to do things that you said you were going to do, you need to do, whether you feel like it or not. That's one of my principles of discipline, self-discipline. It's very hard. It's not easy. I operate in the spirit. We're all spirit, part physical. There's a body attached to this spirit, right? And there's this thing called the anointing. So everybody has it, but everybody aren't able to tap into it as easy as others. I walk with the spirit, right? And the more I evolve and learn and become more wiser, the more the spirit guides me, right? I kind of let go and let the spirit guide me. It's still hard to show up and do certain things when you don't feel like it. Today's one of those days where, when I when I really get in the spirit, it's easy for me to flow. It's easy for me to talk, and it comes out. Like I can get into a real heavy conversation and start preaching. I'm not a preacher, but I am a teacher. And and I love sharing, I love helping, I love encouraging. That's the God in me, right? But so I'm sitting here. I'm actually trying to get myself in that spirit right at 6 o'clock, because I know I said I was going to do a live. I really want to make my be consistent with some of my goals and what I've said I'm going to do, which is a part of accountability, a part of discipline. But it's not easy because I promise you, I didn't feel like it. I have this shit crazy. Hey, I went to the doctors, right? This is not even what the show is about. This is live, right? I'm live. It's uncut. It's not rehearsed. Most of the time, I come off the top of the dome. Not even most of the time, all the time. I need to start writing some things down to have it more structured, have it more scripted. But I don't do well with a script. I do well coming from, right here, off the top, off my mind, from my heart, truth. So I go to the doctor. I have this lump, right? This constant lump in my throat. And I'm always like, it's mucus, right? Build up. And it's been happening for a while. It's been, but I've always ignored it. You know what I mean? It goes away. Sometimes it's a little more annoying at times than it is others, right? So I just deal with it. I think it's, I figure it's maybe something I eat or me drinking, having a drink. Sometimes I don't know what it is, but I end up going to the doctor a while back, maybe maybe about a month or two ago, and because it was really just it's bothersome. It's not it doesn't hurt. It's bothersome, and I'm like, Doc, I need to figure out what's going on because my ears are constantly clogged. Like you know how you go to to the beach, and you get the water in your ear, and it's like clogged up, and then you go like this, and you get it out, get that water out, whatever, or you pose your nose and like that. So that's what it is. So anytime that I hold my nose and pop my ears, I get this burst of fresh air. It's like, oh shit, I can hear. I can hear better than I'm actually hearing throughout the day. It's not muffled. I can't tell that it's muffled, but there's this pressure, right? Again, it's not painful. It's just uncomfortable and it's annoying because I'm always doing that, and it's getting a little ridiculous. So I go to the doctor. They trying to figure out what it is. They test my ears. No wax in my ears. There's no infection in my nose because you know the ears, eyes, and nose, all that's connected. It all works together. Hey, it's amazing how man, God did his thing when he made life, just life in general, and then he made man, and we operate a certain way. We'll get into that. But everything is connected. So they can't find anything in my ears that's blocking it. They can't see what's going on. They only just what I'm telling them. Do ear tests. I'm able to hear. Got a little slight hearing loss in this year, but it's slight. It's normal. I'm 48 years old, so you know you're not. Some of the parts gonna get a little rusty, just automatically from age. That's how I'm thinking, right? So I go. They don't find anything. They test me, do X-ray. They don't see nothing blocking nothing, whatever. So he said, okay. It sounds like it may be what they call eustachian tube dysfunction, right? Now I've looked it up, figured out what that is, and eustachian tubes is these tubes in your ears that allows the mucus and everything that it needs to drain. Like so, whatever flows through and drains down through your eustachian tubes, they're supposed to open and close, right? So I believe it's when you like chew, you can see your kind of. I believe that's it. But it's a tube, right? And they open and close and they allow everything to drain properly. So my eustachian tubes are not functioning properly. So everything is not closing and shutting. So it's constantly muffled. And because I'm self-conscious of that, it's hard for me to, focus on doing certain things at times. Today was one of those. It's like, man, I don't feel good. I'm like, and then, I got so much going on. I run around. I wrap my life around my children, and it's hard for me to figure out how to wrap my life around me and some things that I want to do, even though I'm doing and accomplishing some things along the way. Those are the blessings that I get from God, because I believe that I know for a fact that a part of my alignment with God is in my purpose is being a father, right? So I have my priorities in order. I'm a father first, and I make sure I wrap my life around that in all aspects: emotional, mental, spiritually, physically, financially, everything, right? But there are times, especially, that I'm like, damn, you need to kind of take some time off for yourself and start accomplishing some things, some personal goals that you want to do for yourself, which is actually going to help me become a better father, right? Generate more income, other streams of income, which I do a lot of different things, but it's all bits and pieces come together and we make it work, instead of locking in on what it is I really want to do and just believing that as long as I lock in on that, it's going to work out. So anyways, a lot of things that go on in my daily life where it causes me to like, man, you know what? I don't feel like it today. This is one of those days. I didn't feel like it, but working on perfect. So, and we're going to define that, and we're going to define who has the authority to define that, right? Because one who creates the thing controls a thing. If you create something, you have every right to define what this purpose is for this creation and how it operates and what is perfect to the creator, right? Let me tell you something. One of the biggest tricks of the enemy, right, is to convince people that they can never be what it was they were designed to be, right? Because we are designed to be a certain thing, right? Human being, a man, right? In the image of God. And we're designed that way, right? So imperfect is one of those elements of the design, right? One of those requirements. You must be. It says it in the book. And I did this last week. I was talking about, last episode was the introduction to me. Told a lot about myself, but in a short period of time, wasn't able to give my whole 48 years. So I just gave little time stamps along the way of how we get to working on perfect. Because there's this idea that perfect is impossible. There's this idea that no one can be. There's this idea that you're not supposed to be. There's this idea that when you strive to be or you think you're perfect, which stops people from even striving to be. And because we have this different or this misinterpretation of what perfect means. Way off. Because we think perfect is flawless. Flawless, without flaw. Don't make any mistakes. You're going to get it right all the time. No, that's not what perfect is. Not according to the creator. Right? The creator. The one who created you, me, it, that, whatever. All living beings, all the living beings, the creatures that walk this earth created by the creator. And you're one of them, I'm one of them. And we all are required to live a certain way. Required, right? And it says it in the scripture. But they don't teach that. They don't teach that of what you're supposed to be doing. They teach what they have you thinking that you can't do these things, right? And so I came up with a few. Again, I've been living on principles and operating on principles for some years now. I've come up because I used to study. I said this in the first video, so I'm just going to recap. For those who didn't watch the first video, I'm going to recap this video. How we get to perfect. First, I'm a father of 7. My purpose is being a father, right? And when I became a father, one of the commitments that I made to myself and to my children, one of the promises that I was going to strive to be one of the best fathers in the world. Like, not the best, because I want everybody to live to their fullest potential and become the best version of whatever that is, right? I would argue that everybody is supposed to emulate a father, right? If God is the father, the creator, then we're created in the image, then the first role as a man is to have that father type spirit, that father type energy where you are caring, where you're a protector, where you're a provider, not just for your children, just for life itself, right? Fathering, right? And a lot of people don't get that concept, a lot of men don't get that concept. You have a job as a man, right? That God created you to be a man, first of all. And what that entails is to provide, right? Some stability, to provide financially, to provide spiritually, emotionally, physically. Provide this level of care, not just to your own biological children, to life itself, right? To life itself. Now, of course, you want to put put your life in order. So if you have children, then you're going to prioritize, and they're gonna take precedence over maybe somebody else's children, or maybe this dog in the street, or maybe these birds and the bees, or whatever, because it's all life. It's all created by the Creator, and it's all relevant. They all matter. They all have a purpose, right? So you do want to prioritize, but don't forget that that energy that you were equipped with is supposed to manifest. That father type energy, that godly energy. So the interesting part is that when people start believing that they can't be, they're not supposed to be, they're not something, and that gets programmed in your psyche. So programmed in your psyche, generation after generation after generation, is passed down what you cannot be, what you're not supposed to be. Then what happens is people stop striving. People stop working towards. People stop reading. People stop educating themselves. You cannot be perfect. No one's perfect. And so because we think that, and we don't read or study, because for a long time we weren't even allowed to. It was very dangerous to even get caught trying to educate yourself. Going back to the Bible, I've always questioned, why is it that he was punished or it was a sin for seeking knowledge, right? There's different arguments on that, but I always question that. Wait a minute, this is the tree of life. This is the tree of knowledge. And the only way you're going to align yourself with your Creator and understand your purpose and start manifesting some things and being who you are created to be is through education. It's through knowledge. You got to learn some things, right? So it's like, why in the world would this tree be so bad to eat from? I've always questioned that. I still question it, whatever, but that's a different topic. So, but one of the things is, this right here is crazy. It's crazy. Let me tell y'all something. God defines perfect, right? God, the Creator, the Most High, the Supreme Being, the Creator of the universe, Creator of the balanced universe, whatever you want to call it. It's the Creator. It's my favorite term for God, because it takes the religious out of it, right? The Creator, because that's really the Creator. The hardest thing is to separate God from religion. It's a very hard thing to do. We have to learn how to separate those two, though, right? Because in religion, it'll put you in a box. God is not in a box. God is omnipresent, all-knowing, all-present, that's God, the Creator. And then we get into these little boxes where they shape you and shape your mindset and teach you things that are only in the box, not outside the box. Not to think outside the box, right? And that's not good. It doesn't work when you are destined, created, designed to be something. And everybody was designed to be something great. Everybody was designed to be creative. Everybody was designed to be perfect, meaning the definition of perfect. The definition of perfect. And this is where we don't read, right? And I have studied for years and come up with and found the definition of perfect, having all the desired elements or characteristics that are required, as good as one gets. And we just gonna meet the requirements of who's ever requiring them. And in this situation, God is requiring you to be perfect, right? God has requirements for man, for all living beings. He requires, and with those requirements, it if you follow those requirements, you can't lose. You can't. You can't lose. You can't lose, right? So one who creates the thing gets to set the requirements and control the thing. God does not hold us accountable but damn, listen, y'all. I'm gonna push through. I need to go follow up. But so I came up with a list of, you know what? I don't even want to get into the requirements right now. Honestly. I don't. Because I want you guys to really understand how important it is to get out of this mindset that you cannot be perfect. Because it's important to understand that you're supposed to strive for perfect. You're supposed to align yourself. And if you don't align yourself, then that is not being showing humility or being humble or being weak. It's being disobedient, because it's not an option. It's a requirement. Be perfect. And God, the Creator, says that. It's when I first learned that, it's just so powerful to me, because it almost like, but it's so hard to do, because let me tell you something. When you start searching and seeking truth and reading things for yourself and start understanding that, wait a minute, a lot of stuff that we were taught, a lot of stuff that they teach to this day in the churches, and no shame on churches, none of that, because there's some good ones, but there's some bad ones, right? Shout out to my man Drewski. A lot of people didn't like that video. I thought it was pretty brilliant, right? I didn't really see it as being a mockery of God. I saw it as highlighting a lot of the foolery that happens within the church, right? If that rubs you the wrong way, you know, you might want to look at some things that maybe you're involved in. I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't see, why, other than, hey, everybody has a right to feel how they feel. I respect that. It didn't rub me the wrong way at all, because there's a lot of truth in that. Every church, every pastor, every preacher doesn't operate like that, but you have a lot of these mega churches that they thrive on the dollar bill. It's unfortunate. Selling salvation, right? So but it's important to understand that the design, and if you design something, then there's intent that it implies, right? And it implies that I created this thing, with the intent to do something, right? There's a purpose behind it. And because if you design something, then you design it with a purpose. It's supposed to operate and function a certain way. And God designed each and every last one of us to operate and function a certain way. And what happens is we're not taught what those functions are. We're not taught how we're supposed to operate. And because we're not taught that, we end up finding, getting all into all kind of bullshit, because we don't know how to operate. We're not taught how to be disciplined ourselves. We're not taught that integrity, truth, is a requirement. Most people are scared of the truth. Most people can't tell the truth if can't recognize the truth or tell the truth to save their life. Everything's a game. Driven by emotions. And perfect has nothing to do with emotions. Nothing at all. It has everything to do with alignment. With alignment with the Creator. And fulfilling the purpose that you were here to fulfill. I would argue the first purpose that God created every last one of us, mankind, is to become that man, a man, right? Is to become a woman. And now you have to define that. What are the attributes? What are the characteristics of a man? It's certain principles you live by. We're talking about man reaching manhood. Yes, you're born a man. You're born a baby boy. I've said this before. The same way a dog is born a dog, right? A dog is born a dog. A man is born a man. But a dog, when it's born in its infancy stage, then it's a puppy. It's a puppy. Just like when a man is born, it's a boy or a girl. The dog is a boy or a girl, but it's called a puppy, right? And the dog is supposed to, the purpose, the initial purpose, the design, the intent, the Creator created us to be, that dog is supposed to grow into a dog. Even though it's born a dog, two uses of the word, two different aspects. It's born a dog. It's in the dog family. We can recognize a dog, but it starts off as a puppy. And that dog, through trial and error, through being raised by his parents, mom and dad, I don't even know how long they raised him until they set him, hey, you figure it out on your own. Some dogs just run away and become stray dogs, and they figure out on their own how to survive. They become a dog. You can recognize a puppy from a dog in the streets, the same way you can recognize a boy from a man. You can recognize a boy from a man the same way you can recognize a puppy from a dog or a kitten from a cat. You say, "Ooh, look at the kitten." You can just recognize it, right? The way it looks, the way its demeanor, it's timid. You can recognize a puppy. You can see the maturity. You can recognize a boy, a girl, a child. And you can recognize a man. You can tell, okay, this is a man right here. Not because how he looks, but how he presents himself, how he lives, what he's learned, like what he does, how he speaks, what he does with his life, how he aligns himself with the Creator. Is he fulfilling his purpose? Is he taking care of his family? If he's taking care of his children, is he taking care of himself? You can recognize a man and distinguish a man from a boy. And God defines that as perfect. And the only one who can define that is God, the Creator. The one who creates the thing gets to define the thing. I didn't make this up. I just learned it. I just studied it. I started studying the dictionary. Crazy. But it was already in me. But like I said in my last video, I used to run the streets for a long time. Did everything that the streets, everything that comes with running the streets, from selling dope to robbing to getting robbed. Well, I ain't get robbed too many times. I had robbed a couple times, but all of that, it comes with it. Baby mamas, cheating, lying. It's a game. You in the streets, you gotta play the game. You can't tell people you sell dope. You gotta act like you don't, right? At least that's how I learned the game. You know, you got some people who out here and they want to flash what they do. I was never that type of person. I had my moments where I had little flashy stuff. I had little gold teeth in my mouth. I took that out as I got older. And little flashy cars. But I carried myself with integrity and as a man. I never wanted nobody to know that I was a dope dealer. Never. Why? So you gotta play the game. You gotta lie. It's a part of the game. Lying with integrity. That's crazy. Because I had a lot of integrity. I'm just lying to the police for real. And I'm just lying by omission, should I say. Because those who know knew, but those who didn't, I ain't got to tell you, don't worry about it. I work. I'm going to work. Oh, man. Anyway, it's important, man. And I'm actually evolving more and more as a man, working on perfect, which I know that I'm supposed to be, I was created to be, and that does not mean flawless again. I have aligned myself with the Creator and live every day applying these principles to my life. And it ain't easy. It's not always going to be easy. It's not always fun. It's not all good. There's some bad, there's some trial and error, but I have principles, things to pull me back, to keep me in line. And I started this episode to open up the conversation, to help share, to help people understand how powerful and how great they are designed to be. And you can be automatically if you operate within your purpose. Be perfect. Be perfect. So now, what are those requirements? And once we realize what those requirements are, then all you have to do is align yourself with that and work on it. Once you realize that one of the requirements of being perfect is to love, right? Unconditionally. Now, you got to understand what that means. And I'm just going to give y'all one. Love. Love thy neighbor. Love unconditionally. A lot of people don't even believe loving unconditionally is even possible. But let me tell you how it's possible. When you understand life and you learn to love unconditionally through being grateful for the life you have, the moment you wake up, when you realize that God just blessed you with another opportunity to do this shit again, to fix whatever you got wrong yesterday, to make amends with whatever you got wrong the day before, to plan out what you want to do tomorrow, you have an opportunity. Why? Because you're alive. And through you being grateful for that fact alone, through you being grateful for that fact alone, helps you align yourself with God and being perfect. The best thing that we could do for ourselves is to really be honest with ourselves. And I had to look myself in the mirror. I had to really realize some things that I needed to work on. And these are laws. There's a law called the law of polarity. But for everything, there's the exact opposite. So if you know that being irresponsible is one of your flaws, right? Damn, I just can't figure this out. I don't know. Then write them down. Write what your flaws are. Write your character defects. You got to be honest. Write them down on a paper and then research the exact opposite. So disrespect, the exact opposite of disrespect is respect. The opposite of being irresponsible is being responsible. The opposite of lie is truth. The opposite of selfishness is consideration. So write the exact opposite down. There's a yes, there's a no. There's a up, there's a down. That's called the law of polarity, right? So to work on perfect, we have to start being ourselves and working on the things that are character flaws. Everybody has them. Everybody has them. And it's not a bad thing. Because God said be perfect, but you can't be perfect unless you understand what that means. And you have to learn what that means, right? So you have to go through some trial and error because nobody's teaching it. Nobody's teaching it. We're not. Our parents aren't raising us to be perfect. Our parents are raising us not like you can't be perfect. So we got to tear down that whole thought process. That whole thought process has to get torn down, thrown away, and replaced with a new mindset, a mindset that God created us to have, a mind of our own. God bless the child that has its own. And the only way you do that is start searching for truth, start reading for yourself, start studying for yourself, and and write down some things that you want to work on within yourself, right? And then, like I said, write down the exact opposite. Write down the exact opposite. Because you have everything you need in you. You're equipped with everything you need to be perfect. We just got to put all the parts together. A car is designed to do a certain thing. If it doesn't do, if one of the parts don't operate properly, the car's not gonna move. It needs gas to run, right? So you need, just like you need fuel to to run, right? But you don't just need food, you need good food. You got to start eating better, start thinking better, because if you don't think better, you're going to drive yourself crazy. If you don't eat better, you're going to create all kind of diseases and all kind of illnesses. If your spirit ain't right, you're going to have anxiety and stress and depression and all of this type of stuff. Why? Because you're not aligning yourself with being perfect. Which is in order. What scripture is that? I'm going to leave y'all. What scripture says be? I know it off the top. I believe it's Matthew. Matthew 5:8-48. Listen, when I learned this scripture, it just brought everything full circle. Because again, I studied words, so I researched the definition of perfect long time ago, and ever since then, it's been logged in my head, and it's given me some things to work on and some direction. That's why I used to have in my wall, right? I used to have on my wall. I'm not sure if I said this in the last video. I think I might have started to say it, but then I got sidetracked. I got ADHD. Forgive me. It happens. Self-diagnosed ADHD. I never been to the doctor for it, but based on what I've learned, ADHD is attention deficit disorder. It's not really like a illness. It's just a scattered mind. Let me say that. I don't even like using the word ADHD. A scattered brain. Like sometimes I'm all over the place. But I used to have on my wall, this has got to be shit. Let me think. I was my last relation. This is before I even my ex Amber, when I met. So we were together 6 years. I've been here for, it's about 15 years ago, right? I used to stay in Lake Worth, Florida, in this Worthington Apartments. Those that know, and people that know me will contest to this. If you come in my house, you have principles on the wall, and because once I learned the word perfect, I understood that it was not only was it possible, but then there's certain things that you must do in order to be perfect. I never read that from the Bible, though, because I never studied the Bible. I never even liked the Bible until recent years. And more recently now, in the last 6 months, I've been studying the Bible because I want to bring everything full circle. I want to be able to say, yeah, I read the Bible. I want to be able to understand what the Bible actually says instead of all this regurgitated information that most of us have, right? So, and I came across an acronym. I didn't come up with it, but years ago, I believe in jail. I'm just gonna say one of my times going to jail, being around people that were doing some studying. I came across this acronym for Bible, the basic instructions before leaving Earth. And when I first learned that, it stuck. Like, wow, that makes sense. Okay, just because there's nowhere in the world that you're supposed to read this whole book about this thick and memorize it. And this is how you're supposed to live. It's not this, it's not this whole book. That's not it. Right? But you should read the whole book, but from the book, we're supposed to study and pull out basic instructions before leaving Earth. We're supposed to get an understanding of this book and allow that understanding, those principles that are in the book to guide us, right? That's aligning yourself with God, because the word is in the book, but it's not all the words in the book. It's what is this book saying? What are the stories in the book saying? What are the messages? What are the lessons? What are the principles in the stories, right? And when you pull those out, as I have, look, let me show y'all something. Purse family principles. It's not a game. Every man should have this, though. Every man. Every man should lead his family in the direction that he wants them to go. And this is where I want my family to go, based on principles. This is real generational wealth right here. You can't have generational wealth without aligning yourself or aligning your family, building a foundation on principles of the way we're supposed to do this thing. Because you get all the money in the world. If you're irresponsible, you're gonna fuck it up. All the money in the world, if you out here you're living a lie, you're gonna lose it. All the money in the world, if you don't have no discipline, you're gonna fuck it up. All the money in the world, if you don't have principles as the foundation, it doesn't mean anything. All you're gonna do is just enjoy yourself while it lasts. That's it. So back to what I was saying. At least 10, 15 years ago, when I started studying the dictionary and I came across this word perfect, I realized it was something that was very possible and it exists. And I used to have these conversations back and forth with people, and they thought I was crazy. Everybody's perfect. You think that, blah, blah, blah. No. Okay, cool. I'm just going to leave you alone, continue on my mission, right? So I put on my wall, I did a project one day with my children. I have God is life. ... Live life, love life, respect life, protect life. So it was 3 walls. On one wall, God is life, ... Live life. And then I had love life, respect life, protect life. And then I had or kill yourself. Hey, I remember when my mom first saw that, when she came to my apartment, she first walked in and she saw that. She was like, God is life. Live life, love life, respect life, protect life, or kill. Oh! Paris! Paris, you don't really need that on there. We already, and I say, well, listen, I'm not telling nobody to kill themselves. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, if you do not live by or align yourself with these principles, and this was for my family at this time, because I had principles and still do. This is what I was raising my family on. If you don't align yourself with these principles, you're killing yourself anyway. A slow death. Because if you're out here being irresponsible, you're out here fucking up, you're out here hating on people, you're out here lying and stealing, and you have no respect for yourself or others and all this craziness, then you out here killing yourself anyway. God has nothing for you. You just on borrowed time. Every time you wake up, God is just giving you another chance, but he ain't really got nothing for you. Other than, I'm going to give you another chance. I'm going to see what you're going to do with this one. Eventually, that shit going to run out. God ain't going to keep giving you other chances and you not taking advantage of those opportunities to live, to love, to respect, and protect yourself and your family. It's not going to happen. That shit going to get old and it's going to be over for you. So I explained that and she's like, well, I get it, but that's going to happen automatically. You don't really need to reiterate, kill yourself, and that's a little harsh. So I took it down. Shout out to you, Mom. No matter how whatever differences we've had, how we clash, shout out to you, because I do listen. I have listened to a lot of different things that my mom has taught. My mother is a very, 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 very powerful woman, despite our differences. And as I've gotten older, I have realized some of the things that she has taught me, that has instilled in me, and I didn't even know she was instilling it in me, are coming to fruition over the years, have come to fruition over the years. One of them was one of my principles. My mother used to say what you mean what you say, Don't say it in a mean way. That's integrity. That's integrity. That's compassion. That's consideration. Like all these things, as I've gotten older, I realized you just taught me integrity. You taught me to have some compassion for people. You taught me how to have the courage to speak up for myself. I didn't know that that's what she was teaching me, but she's always used to say what you mean what you say, don't say it in a mean way. That's one of my principles. Number 8. Shout out to you, Ma, for that. So, but yeah, I used to have that on my wall. I used to have that on my wall. God is life. Live life, love life, respect life, protect life. Because at the end of the day, you want to love life. You want to love it. If, in order for you to love yourself, you got to love where you come from. You got to love everything about it. If you truly love life, you love everything about it. You might not like it. The shit ain't always going to go your way. But you have to learn to embrace the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's all a part of life. Just no different than anything else that you say you love. My sons love baseball. And in the beginning, when they started playing, sometimes they used to pout when they strike out. Sometimes when they make a little error, they used to little pout. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. You want to play baseball? Then we're going to play baseball. We're going to enjoy ourselves. We're going to learn to love the game. We're going to love the game that we have, that you want to play. And how you do that is you embrace it. You understand that baseball comes with errors. Basketball comes with fouls. You're going to get fouled. If you're mad at getting fouled, then that means you don't love basketball because you're mad at the game. If you're mad at when shit happens to you in your life, that means you don't love life because you're mad at the game. If you truly love life, then you're going to embrace everything it is about it. Take it in stride. If it don't work out in your favor, learn the lesson, keep it moving. Because at the end of the day, it's your life to live. Love it. And then learn how to respect and love the lives of others. I can see the life in everything. So once I recognize that it's alive, once I recognize that whatever it is I'm dealing with, if it's alive, there's compassion there. And I don't have to like you. I don't have to agree with you. And I will protect myself. By all means. So if it come down between me and you, somebody got to go. I'm going to fight to the end. I'm going to kill to the end. At the end of the day, that's not what I hope for. Because I love you, right? So I hope that we can figure this thing out. Talk about it, figure it out. Hope you love me. You ain't got to like me, but pray for me. You ain't got to like me, but pray for me. Hope that I figure it out. Because the ones that I don't like or that I don't get along with, I don't wish no ill will. I love them. I pray for you. I hope you figure it out. Whatever it is you're trying to figure out, wherever you're trying to go, just don't bring that shit over here to me because we are not in alignment. And no love lost. That's how you are supposed to operate, with love, unconditionally. I'm going to love life unconditionally. I'm going to be grateful for it. I'm going to respect the fact that it's alive. I'm going to respect it. I had this on my wall. I'm going to live life, live with an energy of an attitude of gratitude. My mother taught me that again. Shout out to you, Mom. I tell you, it's amazing because me and my mom bump heads, you hear me, from early. A lot of shit that she put down. Gratitude is an attitude. One of my principles. Matter of fact, it is the most important principle to live by, is live your life with an attitude of gratitude. It's a must because once you start operating from a place of gratitude, everything else opens up. Everything opens up because you appreciate it all. It's a part of life. Embrace it. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Shout out to my one viewer who's on here right now. Don't know who you are. Wish I could see you. But I've been on here 50 minutes and I'm actually about to wrap it up. And I'm glad I did it. I started off saying I wasn't even going to do it. And I have to stop. I do so many different things and I got so many ideas and I start this and then I fall back. And it's not because I don't want to do it. It's because it's draining. And if I don't have that energy in the moment, I just be like, nah, I don't feel like doing it. But I got to start learning, practicing. I practice a lot of discipline, but I still fall short. I'm working on perfect. And this me showing up today is me working on perfect because there's some discipline. There's some responsibility that comes with me showing up today. You said for the 100th time that you're gonna do something. You're gonna start a podcast. You're gonna start a show. You start this little series here. You might do 3 days here. You might do 4 days here, and then you shut it down and do something else. When you gonna get your shit together and hold yourself accountable to finish something that you started? I have to work on that. That's probably one of my biggest issues, is that I don't finish what I start. I got so much shit right here. So many things that I've started. It's part of working on perfect. Disciplining yourself. Discipline. Doing the things that you know you must do, whether you feel like it or not. Because discipline don't give a damn about your feelings. Perfect don't give a damn about your feelings. It says be perfect. Align yourself with those principles that God had, those requirements that God has for you. And it doesn't matter if you feel like it or not. Just do it. Be obedient. And I have to tell myself that all the time, even to this day. Because at 6 o'clock, I didn't have this energy. We've been up since early this morning. We go to the gym. I've wrapped my whole life around my children. And I'm not mad. I love it. But because I do so much and to keep them going, to help them accomplish what they set out to do in life, their dream, that sometimes I put my shit on the back burner, my personal goals. Because my ultimate goal is for my children. My ultimate dream is for my children to accomplish their dream. So I don't care about that is my dream, is to help them accomplish theirs. Now, I do have some personal goals that I would like to accomplish along the way, but it's secondary, and I'm okay with that. But I did tell myself I need to do some more. I need to be a little bit more consistent, hold myself accountable. You say you're going to start this episode. It's something that's really in me. I'm really in me. This is everything that I'm talking about is off the top of my head. This is the spirit. And I didn't have the spirit when I started. I was a little discouraged. Like, damn, I don't really feel like doing it. It's 6 o'clock. It's like 5:58. And I'm still like, damn, I'm unprepared. But 6 o'clock, let me do it. And then I explained where I was, how I was feeling. You know, the best thing you can do is be yourself. And I've learned that for years. I'm always operating from me, as me. I'm going to show up as me all the time. And so if I don't feel like it, I don't feel like it. But I got to work on being consistent and making myself do some things that I may not feel like doing because I know it's a must. Because I'm working on perfect. I want my God to smile and say, okay, this man right here did exactly what I made him to do. This man did exactly what I designed him to do. And everybody should be doing that. Not should, let me say that. Everybody was created to do that. Exactly what God designed you to do. Being perfect. But now we have to define that. I'm going to give y'all the scripture. I told y'all this scattered brain. I'm going to give y'all the scripture. Now, anybody has any pushback or any other interpretation, hey, leave it in the comments. It's open for discussion. But this is what I get. So, in Matthew 5:48, it is clearly a command. Be ye therefore perfect. Matthew 5:48. Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father who is in heaven is perfect. Another one. Ye therefore shall be perfect, as your heavenly Father is perfect. So now, That is an order. It don't say if you like to be, if you choose to be. It say if you want to be. It's okay if you're not. No, it is not okay if you're not. It is okay. I take that back. Nobody can force you. I'm just telling you what the word says. And if you're not, then you're being disobedient. And we're in a time right now, we got to start being obedient. We really got to start aligning ourselves with our creator. It's the only way we're going to survive, in my opinion. Anyway, shout out to you, my number one. Shout out to me for following through episode 2, working on perfect. Who defines perfect? God defines perfect. The one who creates the thing gets to define the thing. God bless y'all, man. Talk to you later. In the live.